Hey everybody, welcome into Farm Cooking with Nan. This morning we're going to be doing what I'm just going to call a hobo. It's a hobo casserole that's made with ground beef, okay? So, and you can not just use ground beef, you can use chicken, you can use sausage, you can use anything you want to use in it. But let's get with it, okay? Real quickly, I'm going to show you how I do my, let me turn off my radio. I'm going to show you how I cut my potatoes for this. I started just to keep cutting them, and I didn't. You just want to cut them down the center, flip them over. I had, somebody say to me, Nan, you need to show people how to cut potatoes on a board, because not everybody can hold a knife in their hand. And I thought, that's just crazy. But you know what? It was true. It was true. And so all I do is just slice them about the same thickness. Now these potatoes are just Yukon Golds or whatever they're called. I think it's what they are. But they are just a medium-sized potato, but I wash them real good. And then I'm going to put about, let's see, this is about 4 or 5 small to medium. If you're doing it at home and you're just doing it for 2 people, then cut it down. You can adjust how many potatoes you want in yours. So let's get the rest of these done. We'll be back. I got my cast iron pot there, and I'm going to drop my lid, but I'm going to put some olive oil in here. When that skillet gets nice and hot, I'm going to throw my potatoes in there. Now remember that if you don't want to do it like this, you don't have to, but Pop likes that fried taste. It just adds another layer of taste on to what you're doing, okay? So we're going to throw our potatoes in there and get them frying. And we will use that little thing that I put my potatoes in. We'll use it. Let's see, what am I going to use? Hang on. Let's season them up a little bit, okay? I'm going to put some pepper. Pop loves, even though I put quite a bit of pepper, Papa always puts extra pepper on his. And put a little salt. Remember, you always season in layers, and this will be a layered casserole, okay? I'm going to put some smoked paprika. And I'm going to put, let's see, what else? I'm going to put a little bit. I couldn't get to the cabinet to get my, I'll just put that in my meat. Let's stir this up a little bit. Uh-oh, got one getting out of the pan there. You want to fry these till they're about done. They don't have to be totally done, but I would definitely fry them 99% done. Let's let that wait a few minutes. I've browned them a little bit. Now I'm going to put my lid on here. I'm just going to turn them down on low. All the way down on low, and just let them steam a little bit. We're going to, they're about 75% done. We're going to remove them real quick. I'm going to take them out of here real quick and put my meat in and start getting my meat ready. I love that charred flavor that you get on fried potatoes. But remember, if you want to be, you don't want to do that step, just don't do it. And let me chase down that teeny tiny piece. We're going to set that right there. Now, we're going to put our hamburger meat in. I've got 1 1 pound of hamburger meat. Get on in there, buddy. We're just going to chop this up a little bit. You know, like I've said so many times, we season in layers. I'm going to put just a little bit of bacon. About a tablespoon of bacon fat, you know, drippings. Because remember, my, I'm going to get that off of my spoon. I don't want to waste it. My meat is not like the meat from the supermarket. Mine is very lean and does not have a lot of, it don't have any fat in it. I have to put something down in there or it will, it'll just become sticking to my pan and everything, and we don't want that to happen. But where you have, you just buy your meat from the grocery store, I'm going to turn this back up some. Heat it back up a little bit. I had it down on low, removing those potatoes. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and I chopped, in my little green chopper, I chopped 1 medium and 1 small onion. If you've got, if you have got just a good old-fashioned large one, just use your 1 big large one. I'm going to put this in there. My large onion. It's hard to get in the corner with anything to get all my onion out of there, and I don't want to lose any of that flavor. Hang on. We're going to throw that in there. We're going to put some Italian seasoning. Oops. I'm going to put a good tablespoon, maybe just a tad bit more. Now this is the way I do mine. Y'all might do yours different, and that's okay. You know, each one of us has a different taste, and you want to make it to where it suits your family. I'm going to put about a teaspoon, level teaspoon of onion powder. I'm going to put some little bit of garlic powder, probably level teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm going to put some garlic in a minute, not right now, but I'll get it ready. Let's see. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. Got a pinch of pepper, pinch of salt. You're not going to get any processed canned stuff in this, so there won't be any sodium going in any other way. But if you have a problem with salt or sodium, by all means, you know, you can use no salt, or my mom, we used to do that with her all the time, and I didn't think it had a very good flavor, but she said it was okay. We always cooked for her when she got real sick, and about the last 10 or 12 years of her life, we cooked for her and did everything at the house. We took care of her. Let's let this cook a little bit. I'm going to put a big old, that's probably a tablespoon of garlic, or garlic, minced garlic. I don't think, did you see what I did? I tried to put that lid on there. I don't think that's going to work, do you? Nowhere to turn but Jesus. I'm going to tell you something. I love to hear music while I am cooking. And I have to turn it off while I'm videoing. But I turn it on the minute that I turn this off. There's copyrights on all this stuff. And you have to be careful. We don't want to get in trouble. So we don't get to play it. But I would love to play gospel music for y'all while that smells so good. Okay. Okay, there's one thing else I'm going to put in here. I didn't use my, what do you call it yesterday? My salsa. I didn't use my salsa at the restaurant Pop took me to. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to put a little salsa in mine today. So I just saved it. And I'm just going to put, that's probably about there might be just a tad bit more than 1/4 of a cup. Just give it that little bit of tomato flavor. I might add just a little bit more. If you want to use, if you have tomato sauce or a few stewed tomatoes that you have in your refrigerator, whatever that you need to use, then I'm going to put just a little bit more. I'm going to say about a 1/2 cup of good chunky salsa. And I just, you know, chunky is what I use. But like I said, you can use your tomatoes. That gives it a little bit of a tomato flavor. And let's start layering. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of this out of my, because I'm going to make it right in my, wait, let me preheat my oven, okay? I'm preheating it to 375. Start. Okay, I've already turned this off, and I'm going to remove a little bit more than this, and I'm going to leave this as my bottom layer, okay? Now, if you want to take it out of this and put it into a baking dish, you can do that, but I'm not going to dirty up anything else. This is, like I said, it almost turns out to be a one-pot thing. You're doing everything in one pot. So I'm going to set this here. And then I'm going to take about 1/2 of my potatoes. And I'm going to spread those around all over. Yeah, that gives me enough for another layer. And then I'm going to grab my cheese. Now I'm just going to be adding a little bit of meat. I'm just going to be adding some shredded cheese that I already have. This is 4-state cheddar. 4-state cheddar. I'm just going to put this on here. Like I said, for you people that didn't hear me the first time, I am putting in the oven at 375. I've got a little bit of mozzarella. I'm just using what I've got, okay? You all, if you want to just use cheddar, that's probably what I would have done, but it's good with any kind of cheese. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put the rest of my meat right there. Then we're going to spread that out all over. This is always a good hearty dish. Pop's not been feeling too good, taking a cold or something. And look at there, just enough. And put the rest of my potatoes. Just sort of push them around to where you're going to definitely get a bite. You're definitely going to get a bite when you get a hold of that bottom layer, you know. And so, with this is pretty good right there. That'll be all right. And then I'm gonna layer the top with, this is Mexican cheese. Like I said, this is what I had. I'd say total you use at least 8 ounces, maybe a little bit more. It depends on how good you like cheese and everything. So we're going to put this in a 375 degree oven. You say, Nan, can you eat that? Let me tell you something. I probably won't go down to the bottom layer. I might eat a slice or two of that of the potatoes, but that'll be it. I'll mainly eat the meat, and then I'll have other things to go with this. So let's get this in the oven in just a few minutes when it gets preheated. We're preheated to 375. I put the lid on there just to let it cook. I'm probably going to let it go for about maybe 30 minutes, okay, until it's nice and bubbly. Okay, let's get this out of the oven. I love to cook in my cast iron, but it sure is heavy, isn't it? Let's see what we got. Look at that. Nanny's got to get a picture. We got a nice little picture. I'm going to lift it up there and let you all see how good this looks. No, I've got some cornbread baked. This is boiling hot. I left it in 30 minutes. Let me adjust my camera a little bit. 30 minutes at 375. And so it was just bubbling all the way around the edge. I took my fork and checked it, or you can take a skewer. Look at your potatoes, how tender. You know, 30 minutes, 375 with my lid on, okay, that heavy lid. So I'm just going to get me a spoon and take me just a little bit out here to try bite. I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be delicious. Look at that. Yum. Make sure I get some of that good meat. Whoop, 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 whoop. Young'uns, that is boiling hot. Boiling, boiling hot. Oh, that'll be a nice little blister there. It's that hot. I'm going to just let it sit here for a few minutes and cool, okay? And get some ice on my finger. Okay, I've got a nice little red finger here. And I will save and put my ice back on there in a minute. But I'm hoping this is cool enough for me to get a bite. Let's get a little meat and a little piece, a little tad of that potato. Father, thank you for this food. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for how good you are to us, God. And Lord, thank you for the ability, Lord. I don't want to ever take for granted the ability you give me to cook, Lord. I have been there where I didn't have that ability, Lord. And I was so sick I couldn't work. I couldn't cook. But Lord, you have blessed me. And Father, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll lift your name above all others, above every name, above every being, Lord. Thank you for your blessings in Jesus' name. Amen. Young'uns, there's so much flavor there. I'm going to put my ice back on my hand. Listen. If you have never made a hobo casserole, you got to realize I hardly ever make it the same way. You can use whatever you want to in there. Layer it up. I mean, if you say, well, I just love corn, or I love pinto beans. I tell you, that'd be good, because that's what I'm going to serve with this to Papa, is pinto beans and cornbread. But you could do a layer of pinto beans in there. Make it your own. Season it up good. Remember, potatoes have to be seasoned. If you don't season them, they'll be as bland as they can be. So season it up real good. Well, young'uns, I want you to know how much I love yous and how much the good Lord loves yous so very much. And he's so good to us. Sometimes, young'uns, I don't understand. Sometimes I say, Lord, I said, even today, I said, Lord, even if you just woke me up, that would still be a blessing. Not counting that he blesses our day and he walks us through our days. Even if he didn't, if we just prayed and said, Lord, thank you for what you've done for me. Even if you didn't, you still deserve to be thanked and praised. I know there's a lot of people that's having a hard time right now. And I just want you to know that I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you every day. Praying for your family. They're struggling through the holidays. And people have an empty chair sitting at their table this year. But God is able to give that peace. And he doesn't give it until you need it. And then he sends it. He's right there with you through every bit of thick and thin. No matter what we face. Remember how much that the good Lord loves you. Okay? I will see you next time, Lord willing, and maybe we'll do another video, okay? Love yous. Bye-bye.